everyone, it is Allison Fletcher. I am the Drunk Astrologer, and I decided to do a video tonight. I'm not really prepared for this video, but I was just feeling so restless I needed to put my energy somewhere and decided to do a video. So those of you who follow me on Facebook, you will most likely have read my post this week about how we're really coming into some really rough energy. It's going to be really hard. We're really going to need our tequila to get us through this. But that if we get through all of this patiently and by being open to the changes that are coming, that it's really going to be a beautiful new beginning, much like a sunrise, which is why I recommend the tequila sunrise this week. Now, tequila sunrise, for those of you that don't know, is tequila, orange juice, and grenadine. I do not currently have grenadine in my house, but I have Midori. So, more alcohol, green instead of red, but close enough. So that is what I am drinking tonight. Like I said, I didn't really prepare for this. I've had some interesting things happen recently that I kind of wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about kind of what we're looking towards in this next week. The energy is rough. For me personally, it's been a really rough day. It was my first day back from vacation at my work, and it's a very eerie feeling today. Some of that is because where I live, the mountain range next to us is currently on fire. Really big fire started. Actually, there's 2 of them now. And while they're not going to get to where I live, we are safe from that. There's always the fear that one's going to start up where we are, especially this time of year. The other concern is, or the other thing that's happening is, we currently have a red sun and smoke. It's creepy. It's hard to breathe. Nobody really wants to go outside right now. And it's kind of making everyone really jumpy. And I really feel like we have this excuse to be jumpy where I'm at, but I almost feel like I would be jumpy anywhere. I really feel like the energy right now is just eerie. So astrology wise, Mercury went retrograde today, so we are back to 5 planets in retrograde. However, 3 of them I don't really care about, and the other 2 are Mars and Mercury. This Mars retrograde has really been affecting everyone's energy. I've been noticing that less videos are going up on YouTube, less videos are being watched. I had my excuse this past couple weeks of I was traveling and things like that, but honestly I don't think I would have done it even if I was in my routine. It just wasn't the right energy, and we're starting to get through this energy, this thick energy. But Mars being in retrograde, Mercury going retrograde today, and the first couple days going up to before Mercury goes retrograde while Mercury is stationing, is really rough. I've learned the hard way not to travel during those when Mercury is starting to station and turn retrograde. I made the mistake of traveling, so I think it was over a week ago now, I flew out to the East Coast, and the trip out there was great. It was smooth as possible, very few hiccups, really nice flight. First couple days out on the East Coast were beautiful. Got to really go and do some exploring, got to relax, enjoy myself, and then it's just the closer I got to the time to leave, it was the worse everything got. The weather got worse. There was extreme rains, extreme flooding. My trip back was a living hell. We had to get up extra early to get to the airport because of all the flooding. We got to the airport and there were issues boarding our flight. Our flight was a living freaking hell. 5 hours and they couldn't take the unfastened seatbelt lights off. Fasten seatbelt light off once. They finally got to the point, they're like, we know you guys probably have to use the bathroom, but we can't take the fasten seatbelt light off because you could still get hurt and sue us. But if you want to try, you can. 5 freaking hours. And then I had issues driving home. And it was very anxiety ridden. I was driving through the desert at one point, and it was 121 degrees outside, and I was convinced my tires were going to blow. It was not fun. So I am never traveling right before Mercury turns retrograde again. I have learned my lesson. I used to think Mercury retrograde, that the worst thing that could happen was last Mercury retrograde when all the espresso machines broke down. But this one was pretty rough too. But yeah, so we have Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and the total lunar eclipse. It is one of the longest eclipses that's going to be happening. I don't know the time frame of that. Just everyone's going on about how it's going to be so long and it's going to be intense. A lot of people have been talking about how they feel stuck right now. This eclipse is changing everything. Personally, I'm flippin' terrified because it's hitting me in my first house. And to make matters worse, there's going to be an eclipse mid-August that's going to be in Leo. That's hitting me in my 7th house, directly in between my Jupiter and my moon. So that's a fun adventure. But we're going to see radical changes. We're going to be seeing very intense, transformative times. And you're going to see a lot of people are going to be struggling with this if they're not open to the change. You have to say, okay, something's changing. I don't know what it is yet, or it's in the process of changing, but something's changing. I read something recently that was talking about the eclipses and the retrogrades and the crap. And they basically, and what they said is, after this, you're not even going to remember who you thought you were. Everything is going to be so completely different. And we're all going down a new path. And we have to accept that path, and we have to just go with that path. And it's really hard to do because you don't want to change, but we dealt with some of this energy last year, and I can't tell you the exact eclipses that happened or anything like that because I was still very new to this last year. But last year it was the same kind of, a very similar, I don't want to say the same because there are differences, but it's a very similar feeling to last year. Last year I had some just kind of, I don't want to say tragedy because it's really not that big of a deal, but just kind of some real life-changing, potentially traumatic events. And the entire time I had this feeling that it was all for the good. That my life was taking me, that all this stuff was happening, this being forced to move suddenly, going through surgeries, car accidents, I all knew it was for a reason. And sure enough, it all was. And it's a very similar feeling this time of it's all happening for a reason, but we haven't hit what's causing it yet. I think some people are starting to. I think some of us are still waiting. But you have to just feel the potential. If you focus on the potential that you feel, it's all going to be okay. Personally, I've been doing cards readings, and the cards are always talk about potential. I just have this feeling whenever I meditate, there's extreme potential. And there's positive things that are coming from the path that I'm about to be forced down. And I have a story for you guys. It was actually a really cool thing that happened to me yesterday that I wanted to talk about. But it was kind of a path sort of clue, I feel like. But it really deals with this difficult time that I talked about last year and this potential that I felt. Because if you would have talked to me last year and you would have been like, oh, you're about to do the drunk astrologer, you're about to kind of really grow as a person. You're going to be able to start doing like these card readings and these astrology readings and all this stuff that I do. And if you would have told me that I would start being able to do I don't necessarily do energy work, but I feel like I can do energy work type of thing, like I'm going to be able to learn. And if you would have told me all this last year, I would have kind of laughed at you, because I would have thought there's no way I would get to the point that I would quit one of my side gigs to do this instead. But life sent me down a path, and I got a really cool experience, like I said, yesterday. I was sitting around with my mentor. We were doing card readings and discussing astrology and energy and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden I got like this urge. I was like, we need to go to the New Age store. So we jumped in the car, went to the New Age store, and it's not the best New Age store in the world. I mean, their tarot card selection isn't bad, but it's not good either. But I was looking, and there were a couple things that I was looking at, and they were all like right around $10. And there was this one set of oracle cards that I was really interested in. That was $10. And I was really interested in all this stuff, but none of it like screamed like, you need this. But it was fun to look around. And then we decided to stop at another store that's a vintage store that also sells incense and candles, because I needed more candles. So we walk in, and within 5 seconds, this absolutely beautiful decanter caught my eye. So purple is kind of like a signature color for me. I always am dyeing my hair purple. It fades to pink, but I like the purple, and it's just beautiful. And I picked it up, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'll be able to afford this. Sure enough, this was $10. Just like all the other stuff I was looking at and turned up. If I would have bought any of that other stuff, I wouldn't have been able to afford this. But I was able to buy this, and it's like, as soon as I started talking to the lady about how it was meant to be, because she couldn't believe it was $10 either. I started talking to the lady that was meant to be about how it was meant to be, and she started asking me questions, and I started telling her about this project, and she thought it was just the coolest thing she'd ever heard of. And the owner of the store came out and started talking to my mentor, kind of just to find out that all into the New Age stuff as well. And it was just this really awesome experience. And I was looking at the decanter later on that night after I had a couple drinks. And I just realized that this is a symbol to me. This is a symbol that this path I went down is the right way for me to go. And that this is a good thing for me to be doing. So I hope to have more videos out. I know this was kind of a ramble. I know I talked about me a lot. I do have a Leo moon. Blame it on that. I hope to have more videos out. I'm really enjoying doing the posts on Facebook, and it seems like I'm getting good feedback from it. So if you haven't, Drunk Astrologer on Facebook, feel free to like me or follow me on Twitter. Because right now I only have 14 followers on Twitter, so I'm trying to tweet as much as possible. But I have a Leo moon, so it's really hard if like I don't have attention to motivate myself. Yeah. Leo moon, and then my Mars is in Taurus, so I do need motivation to get moving. And then also, so Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, please like my videos, subscribe, share with friends. Yeah. If anyone's interested, I do card readings, and I do astrology reports. I write like a 5-page long report. But yeah, that's basically it. This video was longer than I thought it would end up being, but I've had fun. I hope you guys have fun and keep tuning in, and good luck tomorrow with the eclipse. And let's see where life takes us. Bye.